Howdy folks, and welcome to the World of Warships patch 0.5.1 public test server with Rear Admiral Jingles. First things first, let's just get my first tier 1 ship cooperative battle out of the way so I can actually see what's new here on the test server. It was kind of surprising though, because when you sign into the public test server, it's with a brand new public test server account. You don't sign in with your existing World of Warships account. So to all intents and purposes, this is hello, what's this World of Warships all about then? Brand new player, never played before. And your very first co-op battle is putting me up against tier 2s? But then again, doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm new to World of Warships. I'm not just spamming high explosive at everything, for one thing. These are all cruisers, and so, well, armor piercing is going to do the trick. As soon as I start hitting him. And there we go. The first thing I noticed is the revamped sound effects. I didn't have a problem with the sound effects in the current version of World of Warships, but the guns do sound a lot beefier and chunkier. And I don't know if you've noticed the enhanced engine noises as well. You can really hear those steam and gas turbines powering up as you start accelerating. Anyway, we don't have time to sit around here in a tier 2 co-op battle all day. Let's get some ships sunk and see what's what. Don't worry, this is not going to take very long. The judicious application of several armor-piercing shells against these tier 1 and 2 cruisers is going to set on the bottom very, very quickly. Just going to sit on penetrations like that. This one's not going to last much longer. And bingo, there you go. And the first thing I noticed after my very first co-op battle on the public test server was, holy crap, nearly 1 million credits and 58,000 experience? I'll have some of this. Now, you only got battle rewards like this in the first version of the public test server. The second version of the public test server is now up. And the rewards have been scaled down a little. You were basically earning times 60 experience for your first win of the day in any given ship, and then times 40 experience for each subsequent win after that. And the reason that they did this was basically just to speed progress through the levels in the service record, get yourself up to rank 9 in the service record in your first co-op battle played, so you didn't have to sit there for 2 or 3 hours just unlocking access to everything that's available on the test server. The side effect of that, of course, was that you never had to play any ship more than once in order to completely unlock every single module on it, get a captain with 13 or more crew skill points, and unlock the next ship in the tech tree after it, which was nice while it lasted. So, with all of that out of the way, what exactly is coming in the next patch for World of Warships? Why should you care about patch 0.5.1 if you're a World of Warships player? Because there's not much in the way of new content actually coming in this patch. This is not a content patch. There are no new ships. There are no new tech trees. What you're getting with this patch is refinement and streamlining to the World of Warships experience. There are new features, there are new maps, but it's mostly about making the game smoother, simpler and easier to play, as well as addressing some rather annoying issues that have been upsetting a lot of people pretty much since the game was in closed alpha. What are you talking about, Jingles? Well, it's the old elephant in the room, isn't it? It's the one thing that they have never really addressed up until now. The border-hugging exploit. When a ship sails into the border of the map, half the ship is actually outside the map, which makes the ship difficult to hit, because your shells are not having their trajectory calculated correctly when half of the ship is outside of the map border. Not only that, because the ship is pointing in one direction but actually moving in another, it makes it very, very tricky to calculate where you need to lead your shots in order to even hit the parts of the ship that are inside the map border. Well, that has been fixed at long last. And because everybody loves a practical demonstration, I'm doing exactly this right now. This is the border hugging or border surfing exploit. You can quite clearly see half of the ship is not even in the map. And the reason that this is such a scumbag move is that up until now, the game has not been able to accurately calculate the trajectory of the shots fired at a ship that is half in and half out of the map. And so most of the time you're just going to miss. Well, that has now been fixed. But the other factor that makes this really bloody annoying is, well, look, the ship's pointing in one direction, but it's moving in another, which, even if you're aiming at the part of the ship that's inside the map, makes it difficult to hit. But look at how slowly I'm suddenly going. My engine's still at full power. What's happened is as soon as you hit the map border, you get a warning. Get back into battle, engine power reduced. The game now reduces the engine power of any ship border surfing like this by 75%. And slow-moving ships are a lot easier to hit than fast-moving ships, for obvious reasons. So that's Wargaming's solution to the border hugging or the border surfing exploit. And I do encourage any of you who are on the test server to test it out, because they're watching keenly to see whether or not this is going to be a successful fix or not. And I certainly hope it has been fixed with this change, because it is easily the most infuriating thing, in my experience anyway. Your mileage may obviously differ, that just ruins games when you're playing World of Warships. But what else is new? Well, daily missions. Daily missions have received a huge overhaul. You still have your regular 3 daily missions which are running at any given time, but let's say, for example, one of the daily missions happens to be shoot down 20 enemy aircraft. And you never get a game with an aircraft carrier on the enemy team, or you play destroyers. Well, that's no good to you. Well, now, if you get a mission that you don't like, once a day, change it for another one. So that's good news. But that's not all, because once you reach rank 10 in your service record, missions and challenges become available. Wait, what? Missions and challenge? Didn't we already have missions? Yes, you already had missions. You didn't have the ability to ditch a mission you didn't like and pick another one, but challenges are different, while being similar. You're not making a lot of sense, Jingles. Alright, I'll explain. You only ever have 3 missions running at once, and once you've completed a mission, that's it, it's done. You can't do it again until the next day, when you may not get the same set of missions. In fact, you probably won't get the same set of missions. Challenges, on the other hand, are running constantly, and you can complete them an unlimited number of times. And there's a bewildering array of different challenges that are available for completion. Let's have a look at some examples. Here we go, beginner. Alright, let's have a closer look at this. These are the beginner challenges. So they're not going to be too difficult. In a tier 5 or lower ship, win a cooperative battle. And as soon as you do that, any number of times you do that, you win a Sierra Mike signal flag. Over here, 20% bonus experience any time you're in a Japanese ship of tier 4 or higher, and in a random battle, you sink 2 ships. Over here, check this one out. Survive a random battle while in a German ship of tier 5 or higher and sink 1 Soviet ship, and you get a premium repair party consumable, triple commander XP, and a free port slot. This is really, really good. I mean, the potential exists here that if you keep completing these challenges, you would never ever again have to spend a penny on premium consumables, signal flags, anything like that. And these things are running constantly. Every time you satisfy the conditions, unlike the missions, which you can only do once per day, every time you satisfy the conditions of these challenges, you get the rewards. It's a fantastic system. On the one hand, it's giving you loads and loads and loads of free stuff over and over and over again, just for playing the game anyway, and that's great. But on the other hand, it's doing more than that. It's giving you a set of goals, well, challenges, that's what they're called. It's giving you challenges that you can set yourself for what you're going to do, rather than just hit that random battle button over and over again until you run out of the will to live. I do have one note of caution about this whole system. While it is fantastic, the danger always exists that, well, look what happened in World of Tanks when they introduced the light tank, medium tank, heavy tank, tank destroyer, and artillery missions for the reward tanks. It didn't take long before you saw people quite clearly playing just to complete their missions rather than actually trying to win the battle. And yet, having said that, it does appear that World of Warships have learned from the experience of World of Tanks, and they haven't made any of these challenge conditions so specific as to lead people into doing just stupid stuff in order to get the challenge completed at the expense of winning the game. You're not going to see any challenges, for example, where in a Japanese battleship of tier 6 or higher you have to, in a random battle, sink 5 enemy ships and do 50,000 points worth of fire damage, because all that's going to do is encourage battleship captains to fire nothing but high explosive at everything. And if you don't think people are that stupid, you've clearly not been playing World of Tanks, because if that's what they're expected to do in order to complete a challenge, then that is what people will do, and their team will lose, and they'll have their ship sunk, and nobody will be happy. None of the challenge criteria are as nitty-gritty and specific as that. They're sufficiently vague that you can still get the challenges completed while trying to actually win the match and not behave like an absolute idiot. While we've got this replay running in the background, this is another thing that I wanted to address about World of Warships, and it's to do with the AI. Check this out. German cruiser, the York, battleship well inside the 6 km torpedo range, so I fire the torpedoes off and I just forget about him. I'm concentrating on this destroyer who's shooting at me in the smoke screen. Surely I should have hit that battleship, but you have got to be kidding me. Did you see that? I don't want to I mean, he's going to die anyway because it set him on fire and he's burning, but I don't want to hear any more complaints from battleship drivers right, that it's impossible to avoid torpedoes. If the bots can do it, you can too. That was impressive. The AI in the co-op battles in World of Warships was never a pushover, but I'm very, very impressed with just how good it has become in this patch. I'm going to need to avoid these torpedoes, so I slow down and I turn, but it's important that you don't turn too much, otherwise you just swing the arse of the ship around and that clips the torpedo and you get hit anyway. Destroyer in the smokescreen there. I know roughly where he is, I can see his shots coming out, and well, screw it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. There we go. Got him. Thank you, I'll be here all week. Oh crap, more torpedoes. And that's a texture bug, which you can see on the island there. Sadly, there is actually quite a lot of that about in the on the test server. Oh, actually, before we show you that, just check out this battle results screen. This was hilarious. Just need to finish off the enemy carrier. Already set him on fire. And bingo, there you go. Okay, you ready for this? Are you sitting down? Are you strapped in? 2,111,000 experience. Yeah, that's what it was like on the first version of the test server. It was just absurd. They weren't stupid though. They didn't give you a huge amount of gold, so you couldn't just convert all of that ship experience into free experience and then unlock every ship in the game. It wasn't quite that easy. But anyway, yes, missions and challenges. You've seen the challenges, now the missions. Well, hang on a minute, Jingles, you've already shown us the daily missions. You get 3 of them every day, and if there's one of them that you don't like, you can change it for one that you do like once a day. Yeah, that's daily missions. The new missions are separate from the daily missions, and they're bloody hard. But the rewards, well, let's just say they scale appropriately. Here are the 3 examples that we're running on the test server. The first one, Mythbusters, isn't really that difficult. It'll just take you some time to do. In random battles of tier 6 or higher, kill 10 ships, and if you do that, that's a fairly decent reward. Okay, next one. Destroyer. In random battles of tier 4 or higher, do 100,000 points worth of damage to enemy ships, and you get main battery equipment modification. That's a couple of 100,000 credits worth of gear. Not bad. How about Battle Achievements 1? This is the first multi-stage mission, and the first stage of the mission involves setting fire to 10 ships while in random battles of tier 5 or higher. So you probably want to be doing at least the first stage of this mission in destroyers or cruisers. And once you've completed all 3 stages, I can't show you what the second and third stage are, but once you've completed all 3 stages, you get 30 premium consumables and a package of 60 signal flags. Just for playing the game. If you complete these missions and challenges, or even some of these missions and challenges, you're never going to need to spend money on port slots, premium consumables, or signal flags ever again. It's a fantastic system, and I can only stand up and applaud Wargaming for introducing it. World of Tanks, are you paying attention here? Particularly in light of the way you've had to pull and delay patch 10.0 in order to redo the way people earn their inscriptions and emblems for their tanks in World of Tanks. Are you paying attention? World of Warships here? This is how it should be done. But we're not done yet, there's more. There are also special events. Unfortunately, in both iterations of the public test, the event tab has been nothing more than a placeholder, so I can't actually show you what the events involve. But I'll be keeping an eye on this and keeping you up to date as the situation develops. Next up, I mentioned that there were some quality of life updates coming in patch 0.5.1, and not before time. I mean, sitting here in my port here on the test server, I only have, 7 ships? I've got substantially more than that on the live server, and they've finally introduced a filter, and not before time. And there's a couple of spoilers there on the filter as well. You can sort them by nation: USA, Japan, USSR, UK, Poland, Poland? Well, it's not too much of a spoiler. The premium Polish destroyer had been leaked quite some time back. It's not actually here on the 0.5.1 test server, but the tab for it in the filter is. You can sort ships by tier, by type, destroyer, cruiser, battleship, aircraft carrier, by nation, or by whether or not they're special, elite, premium, or special ship. And that's not all. They've also introduced a compact carousel view. It's you know, it's just stuff that's it's all a no-brainer. It's the sort of stuff that the game should have, and it's good to see that they're putting it in. So there's that. I really do like this patch. It's refreshing to see that, because there isn't actually a massive amount of content in this patch. Rather than just trying to figure out new ways of screwing you out of money by tossing in a bunch of new premium, so I nearly said tanks, oops. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The patch is not focused on trying to figure out new ways of getting the maximum amount of money out of your pocket. Rather, it's fixing stuff that's broken, like the border hugging exploit. It's throwing in new stuff that you can do in order to give you something to do, rather than just clicking that random battle button over and over again until you lose the will to live. The missions, the challenges, quality of life changes like the filter in the port, and the ability to reject once a day a daily mission that is just no good to you. Like, for example, if you have the daily mission to sweep the sky of enemy aircraft and all you ever do is play destroyers. I mean, that's just no good to you whatsoever. That's a mission that you're never going to complete. Well, if you don't like it, once a day you can swap it for something that you do like. Little things like this that just go towards making the whole experience of playing World of Warships less and less and less of a ball ache. This is a patch that's all about improving what doesn't work and streamlining what does work. We've already looked at the border hugging exploit fix, but there's other little things as well, like the announcer when you're playing a domination match. He's an absolute bloody idiot. You know what he's like, we've all been there. You're playing a domination match, you've wiped out every ship on the enemy team other than one destroyer. All you have left are aircraft carriers and battleships. You're never going to catch this guy, but it doesn't matter. You're 600 points ahead. In another 30 seconds, you're going to have enough points to win the match. It doesn't really matter if you don't find that destroyer. And then he starts capping one of the flags. And suddenly, the enemy team now have 3 of the flags to the 1 flag that you have. And the announcer says, the enemy team's about to win. No, they're not. Well, you'll be delighted to hear that the announcer in domination matches has had his keys to the vodka cabinet removed, so he doesn't come out with stupid crap like that anymore. And this is not a major gripe, but it's just one of the things that unintentionally amused me whenever I've been playing World of Warships, and it's stuff like that that they're fixing. Big fixes like the border surfing exploit, yep, they're having a go at that. And again, I do encourage any of you who are on the public test server to have a go. Try exploiting the border, and if you see anybody doing it, shoot them and let us know if it works as intended, because at least they're trying to fix it. They're not just sticking their head in the sand and pretending that these problems don't exist. Although, if we are going to be completely fair here, while I'm sitting here singing World of Warships praises, it's probably best if we temper our praise with a healthy dose of realism, because this border hugging exploit, it's not exactly new, is it? I mean, it's been around a while. In fact, it's been in World of Warships longer than I've been in World of Warships. So, better late than never. But it is good to see them finally addressing it, and I hope this fix works, as well as a whole range of other things that... Look at that. I'm sorry, but just look at that. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. I need more torpedoes. I've actually been having a lot of fun playing the co-op battles. This was just carnage. If you ever head down this end, right down the middle of the map here, on the Solomon Islands map, it's suicide. Unless you're if you're in anything bigger than a destroyer, you're gonna get hammered. There's nowhere to maneuver. It's really difficult to avoid the torpedoes. I'm impressed with what they've been doing with the bots here in World of Warships, but no. You saw the battleship dodging my torpedoes from my York, my German cruiser, in a previous clip. Very, very impressive. It's difficult to dodge torpedoes when you're in narrow waters like this, but again, very, very impressed with what they've been doing with the AI. It's just a shame that, well, if you want to progress in World of Warships, playing co-op battles is not the way to do it, because the rewards that you get for, you know, experience and credits-wise... Hang on, he's not going to dodge these ones as well, is he? bloody hell, he did. You see what I'm talking about? I really do love this game. If Armoured Warfare's bots were as good as the bots in World of Warships, I would never play PvP in Armoured Warfare again. Seriously, World of Warships, I think you're on to a really, really good thing with the AI in your cooperative missions, and in a future patch, surely I'm going to get him this time. Yes, finally. Bingo. And in a future patch, I really do think expanding on what you can do with your AI is the way to go. Look at that. 2.8 million credits. In a tier 2 destroyer. Oh, and I completed a mission. Hooray. Anyway, sorry, not a mission, a challenge. Anyway, there you go. World of Warships patch 0.5.1 on a test server near you right now. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the events. That's the one thing that I haven't actually been able to take a look at. Oh, and there's a new nighttime map as well. Yeah, night battles in warships. It's just, but it never popped up in the map rotation. I badly wanted to be able to show you that, but unfortunately it just never happened. They did have a training room available where you could pick a map and have a go, and I did try that, but there's a very limited number of training rooms available on the server. They were all in use, and nobody was running the map that I wanted to take a look at. So I'm really sorry about that. I was desperately looking forward to actually showing you some night battles in World of Warships, but sadly, not this time. Anyway, that's it for today. That's World of Warships patch 0.5.1. I'm very happy with the way this patch is heading. And I'm looking forward to having a go when it goes live. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be back on Monday with Mingles with Jingles. As always, folks, take care, and I'll catch you next time.